This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura Integra. $229 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Link, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Link. Be the maestro of your own home.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
It's game day at Toyota of Hollywood. Our All-Stars are here to give you our MVP experience. Join the fun and feast on discounts up to $4,500. Huddle up and score big on a 25 Corolla. Not $26,000, $17,988. It's a tailgate party you don't want to miss. So gobble up the savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days from Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on a new Acura ADX. $239 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The game is final. Tua and the boys are in the locker room. Let's go over what happened in this game in our Dolphins Postgame Show with Big O. The Postgame Show is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, Toyota of Hollywood, RM Contractors. The stats are final. The insiders are ready. The platform is mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley. Now, let's find out what the Big O thinks about this matchup as we start our Dolphins Postgame Show. Here's Big O.
Alrighty.
We got ourselves a victory. This is kind of the last chance to get a victory this season because, New England's going to run them over next week. But, they got the 7th victory. That was good. Quinn Ewers did well. McDaniel did try to F him up a little bit a couple times doing stupid things, especially at the end of that first half. You got a 10-point lead. Like, yo, relax, bro. Run the ball. There's only a few seconds left. Don't think you got Dan Marino now so you can start to surgically dissect the defense downfield in seconds and score or something, He used to do that with seconds left and a few timeouts in the half. He used to do that. No one else has done that since. He tried to screw Ewers up. Tried. Because that's what he's going to do. But I give Ewers credit. He hung in there. He played calm, cool, and collective. You know what I mean? Now, he played against a really bad Tampa Bay team. A Tampa Bay team that I think isn't really necessarily happy with their coach and his comments of a few weeks ago. So there's kind of been a disconnect on that team, and you can tell on the field. I just didn't see a lot of life in that. Considering your whole season's on the line, like the Dolphins are playing way harder than the Bucs for the last few weeks. This isn't just this week. This has kind of been a thing for the Bucs the last couple weeks. Since the cigar store mannequin came out and actually had like some tough words to say on the podium, and he kind of trashed his players. And so Dolphins were able to take advantage, and they played well. The best thing that Ewers did was he took care of the football. He made a couple plays when they were there. He hooked up with his boy Theo Weiss, which was good because you always kind of see that when the backups rise, if there's other guys that are playing with him during that time and they get an opportunity, there's a lot of times that those players will end up becoming targets. And Theo obviously had the big play with the broken play, and that was awesome. And they were able to take advantage of it. Achane, who was probably, I guess, 18 for 83 and 3 for 29. And yeah, by the way, Wright did really well too, right? Jay Wright did really, really well. Give Jay Wright a little love. But it was almost like a game where there were times where and this is where you get intoxicated with the whole Achane thing because of Ewers and because of all of that. There were times where they could have used even the running game a little bit more, and you might have been able to get a little bit more because there were moments where McDaniel, like always, gets cutesy with the whole passing game stuff, and he gets a little crazy. But Achane, while it's 18 for 83, he was amazing, dude. Just amazing. That play where you lose 5 yards, and now you've got 1st and 15, and then he just goes and runs for like 18. He's just awesome, dude. He's just awesome. And Jay Wright has really found a spot for himself. That was the good thing. Biggers playing well. That to me is what you want to see. Patrick Paul had some rough moments today, but he's a building block for the future overall. But there were to me, that's what's really good about all of this. And for Ewers, is he a starter? Of course not, dude. Is he the future? No, but he doesn't look like Skylar Thompson when he gets the chance, right? He came out and looked composed, and so you're now at least saying, okay, we got a guy that can battle to be a backup next year. For sure. Guaranteed Ewers can battle to be a number 2 guy. Is he a number 1 guy? No. You need to go and I don't know if you should trade or draft one. Maybe you get a veteran and you have a veteran Ewers type of season because you are going to be transitioning for the next 2 years because of all your cap problems. You're not going to be able to really, and plus, they don't even have a GM. They don't have a head coach. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a culture. They don't have a structure. They have nothing. We're asking them to build something out of nothing so far. because Stephen Ross hasn't been able to create that kind of a foundation. So it's just one of those things. But but it was nice. It was nice. It was nice to win. It was nice to win with backup players in certain situations. It's you had a backup center today. That's really, really important for a young quarterback like that. And Meyer, he wasn't perfect, and I didn't watch everything on the line, but I saw him. I saw him make a couple of mistakes, but then overall, I saw him kind of do his job. Is he going to be Aaron Brewer? Of course not, dude. Brewer has been one steal, bro. 3 years, $7 million each year, $21 million or something for 3 years. It's a stupid contract that they ended up getting on there. That was like a bargain of all bargains. But the guy's been a monster of a player. But it's nice to see Meyer come in and fill in, because that's a guy you've been grooming now for 2 years now. So it's actually, give him a little love. Things like that to me are the bright spots, because whoever comes in next year, they got to find out, Biggers and Phillips and Grant. Okay, we can build on those guys. Sealers, obviously, and then you start going down the line and all. That's really what all of this is about. So you want to see some of these young guys that are playing well actually, start to kind of elevate themselves, Frankie Fresco hitting the drinky winky a little. He goes, Ewers equals Brock Purdy 2.0. Let's not get crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's nice. Thank you for the super chat, Frankie. But let's relax. He completed a couple passes and all of that. It was against a bad team. You're home. Your running game was really working well. Let's pump the brakes, but it was good. It was good for him. I'm not going to put any expectations on the kid. It's not fair. I'm not going to do any of that. But it was nice. It was nice. It was really nice. The best thing is he didn't go out there and pull a Tua this year. That's all I can tell you. He went out there and he took care of the football. He didn't turn it over. Okay? And to me, that's half the battle. If you go out as a football team and you don't turn over the football and you play penalty-free, which is impossible under McDaniel, I understand that. But if you can stay away from the turnovers, you're going to have a chance to, why did Tampa Bay lose? What did Baker Mayfield have? 3 turnovers, I think it was, right, Sean? Was it 2 interceptions and a fumble, right? Yeah, right. I think it was 3 turnovers. You're not going to win. And that's what Tua's been doing this year. He's been turning over the football. So you can't have your quarterback turning over the football. That's unacceptable, because that puts you at a disadvantage. You're the guy that handles the ball on every down. You have to make decisions, and you have to be super efficient when it comes to turnovers. And this year, Tua was not even close to the word efficient. So to me, that's what the Rook did today that you have not seen all season long, because unfortunately, whatever funk Tua's in, or whatever hellhole he's in right now, mentally, physically, or whatever, because there's that dude's broken one way or another. But he was unfortunately turning over the ball like crazy. And to me, that's what was huge about Ewers today. He stayed composed. He completed a few passes. He made the plays that were there, and the game went his way. Instead of him forcing it, which he didn't really force it, okay? Instead of him trying to make something out of nothing, no, dude, do your job. And your job is to complete whatever passes are available to you. And then your job is to not turn over the damn football. And that went well for him today. And if it went well for him, you had a chance. And today you pulled it off, So it was good, man. It was good. Frankie Fresco says Ewers showed more potential than Tua has ever. That's right, of course. Tua was in the MVP race. I mean, okay, Frankie, now I know you're drinking and doing all kinds of other things here in the whole deal. McDaniel with another lifeless second half. I mean, he's a bad coach, bro. He's a bad coach. Thank you, man of 1,005 holds, for the love on the super chat. Frankie Fresco has Ewers as MVP. And then Gus 1388. Thank you for the super chat. McDaniel's a genius. Here comes Ross McEars with an extension incoming. Probably. Remember, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. We love the super chats, but YouTube takes 30%. So that's why we encourage Cash App or Venmo. And you can send in your questions, comments, insults, whatever it is. Jeremy Dorset, thank you for the love on the super chat. Says, if Ross and the Dolphins have any cent tank the next 2 to 3 seasons, draft O-linemen, and then you draft your QB. Well, that's what I would do. First of all, you need to get the GM. You need to get the head coach. You need to start building a real culture in place. You need to start having all the people that want to go get Lamar Jackson. For what, dude? You're not going to succeed. Lamar's not going to change this entire franchise. That's ridiculous. You're not a quarterback away. You don't even have a front office. You don't have a head coach. You have a terrible owner. So what are you going to do? Get an aging running quarterback? That's ridiculous. And give up the house to get Mendoza. You're never going to be able to do that because you're too far out. And now other teams that are in the top 5 are the ones that are going to have a shot at Mendoza. Let's be honest. And they're going to be able to give the same as Miami, except the Giants only have to move down a slot or two and stay in position for the top other players like Bain or whatever at tackle or a defensive end, which there's a few of those guys, and you're going to get them in the top 5. So all that stuff is ridiculous. No quarterback is going to succeed here right now. So why are you going to waste your time? First, build a foundation, dude. You don't have any here. You don't have anything here. So I'm with you, Jeremy. You gotta build this thing the right way when you build it back. If you can, we'll see. We don't even know who's in charge in order to be able to build it back. Let's be honest. Hateful Steve is in the house. Thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. Appreciate it. He says, although we know each win increases the chances McDaniel stays, people oddly still celebrate these meaningless wins. And I'm sure you'll ask, are we supposed to root against our team? My answer is, at this point in time, yes. And my answer to you, Steve, is, what the hell is it going to do? I'm sorry. I sat there, Steve, really wanting Marino and the Dolphins to beat the Niners. I was there, dude. I was rooting and everything. They didn't beat them, Steve. You know, I really wanted the Dolphins to beat, and I was rooting for them to beat the Buffalo Bills in those early 90s when we were getting constantly trounced, Steve. You know, I was really rooting. What is it? Steve, what part of do you not understand that your lucky shirt doesn't mean jack shit? Where you sit on what couch, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? Your little routine at the when you're outside tailgating, and no, I got to do it this way because it's my lucky way. No, I brought my lucky grill today. No, you didn't bring any lucky shit to anything, you idiots. You don't control jack shit. Understand that. You can root all you want. I was rooting for a lot of shit to happen, and it never happened, Steve. So what am I supposed to do here now? Root against them to lose? I'm supposed to root for Quinn Ewers to suck? I'm supposed to root for Achane to fumble? Is that what I'm supposed to do, Steve? Dude, I appreciate the donation and everything, but the point makes no fucking sense. I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm a loser. What can I do? I follow this stupid team. This is all I got. They're trying. Am I supposed to have Jordan? No, I hope Jordan Brooks blows out his hammy so the team sucks. No, I want to see the other linebackers step up and do something. They want to play hard. So am I supposed to not root for those guys? It's not their fault they've got an idiot big-eared owner, Steve. It's not those guys' fault that the front office doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Steve, it's not their fault that the head coach is a fucking moron, dude. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. But we're stuck with these losers. But this whole thing that you think that I'm supposed to root and my rooting for or against is going to change a damn thing. You don't change jack shit. Understand that. Okay? Your little shirt, your little hat, your dirty socks, what position you're at, where you want to sit on the couch, this and that. Nothing brings you any luck. The Dolphins are going to win when they have a badass line like they did in the 70s, when they have a badass front office and a badass coach when they had it in the 70s. They've never had that since. They don't have a great owner. They don't have great coaches. They don't have great quarterbacks anymore. They don't have great anything. And for those of us that are old enough and have lived it from the beginning till now, we saw it all. We saw the decay when they had Young and Thomas and Beathard in the front office. Shula could do his job, be the best coach in the league. And they had no salary cap and all of that. So they had control and they were able to win in the 70s. And then in the 80s, it started to erode, as we all saw. Shula lost his front office people. Young left to the Giants, and oh my God, they celebrated 2 championships. And Beathard left, and Thomas left, and then all of a sudden he didn't have the same people. And at that point, Shula was a terrible GM, and he couldn't make up for it. And then starts the 90s, where in comes the salary cap, and the old man was completely thrown away. And then since then, we have pieced together whatever kind of coaches or GMs or owners, and none of them are worth a damn, and none of them have gotten it done. And it has nothing to do with you rooting for any goddamn thing that goes on the field. So you can root for somebody to lose. You can root for them to win. You don't make a difference. You don't make a difference. The only time the fan actually makes a difference is maybe a moment in a game where you're at home and the place is so loud it creates some kind of disruption at the line or something for just one play, maybe. One play in years of games. One play, maybe. That's the moment. That's it. Sitting in your couch, sitting in the office, watching it from wherever, you don't make a damn bit of difference. Okay? That's all. Either they get the quarterbacks that are good enough, either they get owners that are good enough, either they get front offices that are good enough, either they get players that know how to make the plays. Either they tackle Thurman Thomas before he gets 300 yards on you, Bo Camper hang on to the interception. I could go on and on and on and on. You don't make a difference. You're not going to stop Sammy Smith from fumbling twice into the end zone. That's just the way it goes. You're not going to stop a criminal from coming out with a snowplow and beat you by 1 field goal. You're not going to stop it. It has nothing to do whether you root for it or not. You all have to get off of this train. Please, bro. We do a show here where we live in reality. We don't play the stupid games and the hypotheticals and all the silliness that fans like to get into. We kind of squash all that shit and we kind of leave everything where it's supposed to be in reality. Okay? And the reality is none of you make a goddamn difference. Understand that. You watch the game. We love the team. We all want them to win. but you're not making a bit of difference. Okay? Nothing. No rabbit's foot, no nothing. You don't make a bit of difference. So you can hate and love all you want. It won't control the results at the end on the field. So I'm a Dolphins fan. Am I supposed to sit here and be miserable about them winning or playing well? No, dude, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be pissed that Jason Marshall looked good? Really? I'm supposed to be pissed about that? No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. No. Because I'm still going to be a Dolphin fan next year. So Jason Marshall will come back. By the way, the draft class is actually looking pretty good. You know, no matter what, I don't care what anybody says, the draft class actually looks pretty good. So it might turn out to be a foundational draft for the Dolphins down the line. But stop with this whole thing, bro. This whole cheering and I'm rooting or whatever. We're all rooting. We're all rooting, hopefully, for positive stuff. But whether you root for positive or negative, you don't control a damn thing. You never will control a damn thing. Okay? So drop that already. That's all. Just let it go. Peter German, thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. Says Big O finally saw a coach more lifeless than McDaniel. Yeah, I know. It's I've never been a fan of his. He's a great defensive coordinator. I don't want him. Did you see at the beginning of the game? They showed both guys in their records. You see their records? Both mediocre. Both same garbage. I don't want either guy. Get rid of both. Peter German, again, thank you for the love on Venmo. He says, Ewers look good and won in spite of predictably poor game calling. I hope they blow this thing up and give us a chance to start over. We need a D-line help desperately. Yes. We need everything, bro. We need everything. We need defense. We need offense. We need coaching. We need leadership. We need a front office. We need an owner. We're not going to – that's the only hope we have. That's the only thing that we're hopeless with. We're stuck with the stupid owner. So now we got to hope that his dumb ass gets lucky and hires the right GM that knows how to change everything. Because if you find the right GM, if you find your Bill Zito, the one good thing about Ross and company is that they'll pay the guy a boatload to stay and he won't go anywhere. And they'll give him the world. It's really what they need. It's not, when you think about it, okay, everybody we need a quarterback and this and that. Well, yeah, we got to get the right head coach and all that. If you really think about it, okay, the most important decision that Stephen Ross could ever make is hiring the right GM. Because that allows him to just completely be hands off, not worry about the football operations ever again, pay the guy a boatload of money like I'm sure he pays Tom Garfinkel, who gets it, well-deserved. Now, I don't want Tom Garfinkel involved in football decisions. In fact, I don't want anybody in that building anymore involved in football decisions. Everybody in that building should be fired, okay? Everybody in that building should be gutted completely. Really, you should just there should be a football enema in that, okay? Seriously. Go get an old lady in Hialeah and bring in La Santeria and un despojo, right? Is how they call it, for the whole place, okay? English, Spanish, I'm going to break it all down for you. The GM is the guy. You know why? Because the GM is going to have to draft a quarterback and then draft another quarterback and draft another quarterback. Right? If you have them around for 20 years, draft a quarterback, draft backups, draft the next starter, all that, right? If you have a GM around, he has to hire the coach, and then he has to hire the next coach. And if he hires a bad coach, he has to hire a good coach. Because sometimes you'll go in a cycle where you'll get a good coach, and then you get a bad coach, you got to fire him and get a good coach. That's what New England just did. They got Mayo, and it was a bad coach. Oh, no. We're going out of here, and we're going to Vrabel. Boom. That's an owner, right? So you need to get a GM because you have a stupid owner. So now you get the right GM, and then that steers the franchise completely into the right direction. But they haven't had the right GMs since the aforementioned Young, Thomas, and Beathard. Are you listening to me? None of them, Jimmy, everybody has failed. Every GM in the history of the Miami Dolphins until the 70s has failed. So the only puzzle is that you go get your Bill Zito, the guy that has the vision, the guy that can build the culture, the guy that can find the players, the guy that can find the stars, the guy that can find the lesser players, the role players, the guy that understands top to bottom how to build a roster within the rules of whatever league that you're in. It's not about, let's go get Mendoza. That's stupid. Mendoza will fail. Oh, no. Did you see Malik Willis yesterday? Because I got my DMs were bombarded with Malik Willis stuff. And I'm like, stupid. Malik Willis wouldn't survive here. You don't have the structure in place for all of that. So you need to get the right GM. That's the most important thing that you can do. But I get a feeling that we're going to go the lazy route. Oh, well, I've been around Champ Bailey for a couple of months. I really like him. And yeah, no, Steve, you should really go with your gut. Because your gut, man, your football gut, I know your real estate gut is amazing. I just saw the property and what you've done to a football property. When I think about it, Joe Robbie bought that, and it was just a stadium in a giant-ass parking lot where we could all just throw footballs around and cook hamburgers and hot dogs and whatever else you guys cook out there. And then, no, I see a tennis tournament. I see an F1 race. I see a hospital. I see the biggest musical events in town, music festivals. I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah, so I know you're good in real estate. I know you're good in making money because you're making money off of everybody. But, man, you just don't know what to do in football. And this is the one owner out of all owners that desperately needs a real football guru running the organization. And he doesn't clear. All those people that are with him in that suite, they're all part of the problem, not part of the solution. Okay? He's asked them all their opinions on everything. So they've been a failure all around. Okay? So let's not kid ourselves right now. Please. Okay? What do you think? He's going to hang around that suite with all those people and he's not going to ask them what do they think about this or that? Get out of here, bro. Come on. He doesn't have anybody. And that's why the most important decision, but here's the thing that I'm going to tell you about this, because, I talked to somebody this week in the building that it says it's just a bunch of people trying to save their asses. In the process of trying to save your ass and people all around trying to save their ass, they kind of cloud the old man's judgment. And that building may not want an all-out GM to walk in there. Why? Because a guy that walks in there and has full control, as Judas Priest would say, some heads are going to roll, and that's what's going to happen. So a lot of people in there, as I'm told, are doing a lot of sucking, and they're all trying to fight and scratch and save jobs and save positions and maybe alter the course of history. Because if you go out and go on a full board search for a GM and you say, I'm going to go find a football guru, you never hear him say that. You never say, you know what? I need to go find a football person that I can turn over the football operations to because I am not good enough at this. I've meddled. I've cost my team picks. I've embarrassed my team by going after coaches in the middle of the night and all that other stuff, all that crap that he's done to embarrass the team, not enhance the team. Because, he's enhanced his money, his worth, his property, but he hasn't enhanced the football team one bit. So you never hear that from Stephen Ross say, no, I need to go find a football person to run the entire organization. I need to find somebody that's going to be in charge of hiring, maybe even a football president that takes charge, and then they hire the GM hires, and, like a real structure, that kind of stuff. No, because there's all kinds of people that are in place. And so that's what I'm hearing. There's what is it? Scritty Politti, the politics of dancing, the politics of, feeling good. Yeah, no, they're not feeling good. So it's bad. It's bad. It is bad in that building. It's toxic in that building because winning is not necessarily the all-out priority. And, with Vinny Viola and the Panthers, you have a military man who then puts together a military structure and says, no, we're not going to be playing this fantasy hockey shit and all that. No, I'm going to go find my hockey guru, and then I'm going to find it because I inherited Dale Talon. Okay, I've assessed this. We need to make a change. I'm going to go find my guy, and I'm going to step back, and I'm going to let my guy run the show. And that's what Bill Zito does. He's your guy. He runs the show, and you don't hear Vinny Viola going in the middle of the night, going to chase coaches. You don't see him costing the Panthers a first and a third rounder because he's trying to go find some centerman or some forward that has scored 77 goals last season. No. He's got the guy, Bill Zito. One man, one voice. That's it. Vinny Viola is the one voice of the franchise. He hires, his business people on one end, and then he hires his face of the franchise in Bill Zito. And then Bill Zito goes and gets his head coach, and he goes and gets his players, and the rest is history. And when that structure is in place, you have what they call synergy. And that's the problem. We don't have synergy here because there's too much pull inside the building of people trying to get power. And so they're all clamoring around the old man, and the old man doesn't have anybody to kind of step in and say, hey, all of you, shut the F up, go do your jobs. We don't want to hear from you. We're gonna decide from within here, boom, and then but it's not happening that way. So the old man will go piecemeal again on this whole move, okay? And who knows? But it's not as much as you and I would like to see a complete clean break of everything. I don't know if he has the balls to do it at this age. I just don't know. And that, to me, is the biggest problem of them all for the Miami Dolphins. If you don't get the GM, if you don't get your Bill Zito, if you don't get your Pat Riley, you need to get a guy that has a vision for a generation. This doesn't last for 40 and 50 and 60 years, but you need to have a guy that has the vision from 15 to 25. Because everybody then has their time. You're seeing it now with the Miami Heat. That chapter is going to have to turn. But for a quarter century, nobody better than Pat Riley. And so, and he's left you with Spo as it is. Their front office structure has kind of lost its touch. Reminds me a lot of what happened to Shula with the salary cap and everything else. That Shula did not adjust to the salary cap and it ran him over, badly. Kind of the same thing is happening to the Miami Heat. But that's I digress. That's another story. That's another whole thing. But you've got to find your guy that has your vision for, a generation. If you can have that, then you're successful. Nobody's going to run it for you for 40, 50 years, 60 years. That's not going to happen. But you need your Jerry West. You need your Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome did it for probably around a quarter century or something. You kind of need that. You need that, You need that guy. And without that guy, I don't know if Stephen Ross can ever be successful. And I don't think you and I will ever see our Dolphins win the way we really want them to win. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation as always. Appreciate you out there. What serious coach, says John Nazaran on Venmo, what serious coach or football executive wants to work with Stephen Ross? I don't think there's one right now. I don't think if you're serious, you want to work in this organization because of all the dysfunction that's been going on. Hateful Steve, once again, on Venmo. He says, well, I'm supposed to be happy. I got into a car accident because I couldn't avoid it. We sit here every day hoping this bum gets fired. Then his chances of staying go up in your side. I'm not celebrating anything, dude. I'm celebrating for the players. We have no control over what the old man's going to do. He extended Joe Philbin, dude. This is the guy that was selling Jets gear in the Dolphins pro shop. I can't control this man's stupidity, Steve, but I'm not going to root against HN. I can't. I watch Jordan Brooks bust his ass every week. How can I do that, dude? Like that. It's a great example. Well, what's now I'm forgetting his damn name. The defensive end for the Raiders, Matt or something. What's his name? That Crosby, Matt Crosby. So Crosby is pissed. Raiders have nothing to play for. And he's been dealing with injuries all year. And he wants to play the last two games because it's like I don't want to compare it to war or anything like that, but there is a certain thing about guys going out there and playing, even in a regular season that means nothing, and leaving it out there all on the field and playing hard for your teammates. And he feels sick to his stomach that they have to go out there and sacrifice their bodies, and he's not doing it. Now, they're doing it to protect him, and who knows, maybe they want to trade him in the offseason, so they don't want to avoid any other injuries, so they want to make sure he gets healthy and all that stuff. And he's not posting videos of him playing basketball around with his kids in his gym and all that kind of shit. So it's, and maybe they're headed for a divorce or not, but he's pissed. But that's the character. But that's what you want, Steve, from any fan wants somebody like Max Crosby to be, a player on your team. You want a Zach Thomas. You want the guys that it hurts. Like they are going to, it doesn't matter what game it is. None of it matters to them. They are going to play hard. And so those kind of players, what am I supposed to do? Not root for them? And they're going out there trying to win. And they all have resumes. And those 17 videos is their resumes. So they can't go out there and completely loaf, because the next team they go to and all that, they're going to tell them, well, what is this? Season was over. I didn't feel like trying. Oh, really? Okay. That's not what you're going to want on your team. Because, all right, Steve, so we're supposed to root for Jimmy Butler then? The guy that only tries when he thinks it matters? We can't do that, dude. So I disagree with you on all of that. I've always disagreed with rooting against my team or being pissed because they want. I can't control any of that. I can't. Fernando Lamas, thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. He says, I love the Super Stripes throwback cap. Thank you, sir. 2026 wishes, new coach, new GM, draft best player available, stockpile picks, no expensive free agents or stupid trades, manage dead money best possible. I wish you owned the team, dude. I wish you owned the team, Fernando. That would be really nice if you owned the team, my brother, because you have way more common sense than the old man that runs our team now. David Redford, thank you for the love on Cash App. You are a stud. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For my under 8.5 is good. rolling into more Bitcoin. There you go. Take advantage of that beautiful dip, my brother. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Take advantage of that dip. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. And of course, like these folks, you can send in questions, comments, and I will definitely read them. Jeremy Dorset, again, thank you for the love on the super chat. Says, Ross also said I need to find a young Don Shula when he needed to say I need to find a football person that will hire a GM. Yes, exactly. But Ross doesn't get it, Jeremy. That's the thing. You know, Big O, a flow up the next GM should all try to sign undrafted O linemen as well. Thank you, Jeremy, for the other super chat. Very nice. I'm trying to understand that. Next GM. Well, I guess the next GM should also sign undrafted O. Yeah, you should always try to do that. You never know when you find. You could find linemen undrafted. Yeah, you can find them even coming out of Canada. And they might end up being really good for you. So that happens. Yes. Yes. And true Fin fan, Steve, preparation H will help. All right, let's do it. The one and only David Furones is ready to go with our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins postgame report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. David, small chance to win, but man, they played well today overall. They handled the team that, I think they would be desperate to win. They didn't play that way. I'm sorry. It was kind of a lifeless. It's kind of been like that for them the last few weeks since the coach ripped them. They have not responded well to the coach's public rip job a couple of weeks ago. So it's kind of gone downhill for them. But with everything on the line and everything for them, I thought overall this is a good performance for the Dolphins.
Yeah, of course. And you also have to look at the other side. The Buccaneers now, that's 7 losses in their last 8 for a team that's battling for a postseason spot. And still, even after all that, still will have a chance to win the NFC South next week, which is just a joke of a division. But luckily, I think we have the Steelers-Ravens scenario to get us a Sunday night football game next week. So at least we don't have to we have something else to look forward to in Week 18. But, nice effort from the Dolphins. I think you saw what this group likes in Quinn Ewers. I mean, none of what happened last week, it was really his fault. You know, he threw one interception that you could probably pin on him with the positioning of it, but the other one you couldn't really put on his shoulders. And he didn't have one this game, managed it efficiently. Found Theo Weiss when he was there wide open to connect on that touchdown. Threw a very nice, maybe his best throw he's made, regardless of training camp, preseason. These couple of starts was the one to Greg Dulcich crossing in the end zone. He threw it with anticipation. As he saw he was going to be open by the time he got to that spot. So a nice performance from him. Defense stepped up with some takeaways. You don't want to see that late touchdown, but, that was already a 2-possession game, so the Dolphins were okay as long as they recovered the onside kick. But good complimentary football being played.
Yeah, I thought the defense did a good job overall, creating the turnovers. With some of the young guys, like a Jason Marshall, actually, stepping up. So that was actually good because Biggers, also playing well. Some of the young guys, obviously Chubb had a really nice game today.
Yeah.
But some of the young guys really did a nice job contributing on the defensive side.
Yeah, not only that, then all three phases, because special teams, now you look back at the Zeke Biggers blocked field goal, that those 3 points end up being the difference, actually, since the Buccaneers came down and scored, and it was became a one-possession game. So, you mentioned Chubb. A special teams made a play there, and then obviously Quinn doing his thing, Devon Achane, just doing what you expect out of him as well.
Jay Wright, dude.
And Jalen Wright did his
kind of settled in nicely there, dude.
Yeah, which is a nice 1-2 punch to have, and even so, he's the more physical one out of the two. But even Devon Achane, sometimes for his size, like pound for pound, he can break some tackles now. He is the ultimate speedster in this league, but it's impressive sometimes just that at his size, you don't expect that he'll actually break a tackle. He's more so trying to elude guys, but it's impressive sometimes that he can muscle through.
It's not sometimes. It's all the time. It's impressive. And I got to tell you something. I'm amazed every time he does it, because I'm like, well, wait a minute, bro. You're not that big. But you are somehow elusive enough, and you use angles with your body to kind of, you find your way where they don't get the clean, complete shot at you or wrap on you. It's like you got some instinct to kind of stay away from that, dude. It's really an amazing thing, and I don't know how he does it. I really do.
Yeah, it's very instinctive for him, and that's why. Is there really an explanation? It's just reaction. It's his ability to see things slow down more than any of us could, and then we're all just watching and then marveling at it when, oh, okay, now we see what he did, and he's running free. So it's really just, it's got to be moving at a slower pace for him than what the rest of us are watching.
Yeah. I was just talking about this before you came on, because, to me, I think it's the silliness when people say, like yesterday, I'm sure you got it, I got it on my DMs. Oh, hey, you see Malik Willis? Maybe that's an option. Let's trade up for Mendoza, which is kind of stupid, because if the Giants are going to trade with anybody, they'll stay within the top 5, and they'll want to get Reuben Bain or one of the top tackles, one of the top defensive ends. Stay right there. We'll get a boatload of picks either way. Or the Lamar Jackson thing. I don't think you have an environment for any quarterback to succeed right now from top to bottom. So why even focus on that? To me, if anything you're focused in on, if you're Stephen Ross, and this is my question to you, and I don't think this will ever happen, because he'll take the shortcut, and I almost see it happening right now with Champ, which is, you fire your general manager, which you never do that now. You fire the head coach. You fire the general manager after the season, towards the draft. That's when you make your changes in personnel and all that. But that's fine, whatever it is. I understand it. Okay, you made that mistake. But you look at it, for me, right, in there, I wonder if you're going to go the lazy route and keep Champ. But if I'm Stephen Ross, what you really need to do is go find your football guru and then hand him the keys and let the person do your entire football structure from top to bottom, because that's what this team kind of needs. I talked to somebody in the building, and it's kind of like everybody's trying to save their asses right now, is what they're doing. So my question to you is, do you think there's any chance that Stephen Ross can allow a ultimate football person to walk in, and then that person is allowed to gut the franchise as much as they want?
Yeah, there's so many ways it could go. I mean, that would be one path. The other thing I think about is just how difficult it would be to get a top guy to do that and want to come to the Dolphins, given that now you got to make a decision on the Tua contract, and he's due the $55 million guarantee next year. You got to release him, and that's what you're immediately going into.
Yeah, but Doggy, that's not a decision. You're cutting that right away. You've got you've got a honeymoon.
But that's what you walk into.
Yeah. A honeymoon period for a couple of years. And by the way, you're walking into extra picks over the next couple of years too at the same time.
Yeah, what they got a couple extra thirds. Their first now. I was just looking at the next year's draft order. Will drop a little bit to 12 currently. We'll see by season's end where that went, but it'll be somewhere in that range. But we'll see what happens week 18 as far as movement there. But there's so many ways it could go. But then it's the how desirable of a job it is coming in, and then do you go the route of if you're sticking with McDaniel for another year, do you just keep Champ Kelly as the interim? And then if that doesn't work, then it's just next year is the whole tear it down, especially in a year where maybe you are taking the huge $99 million dead cap hit. And then it's a matter of how much do you like what you got from QB Ewers? What caliber of quarterback are you going to bring in from the outside? Is it going to be a fringe veterans who could maybe start, maybe compete with Quinn now that we've seen him put together his first win? Are you going to use a top draft pick on a quarterback that maybe is available at your spot, or you just barely have to trade up, not like a Mendoza at number 1 or 2, but if it's a little bit more toward the middle of the first, where some teams have found success picking in that range and finding a quarterback, there's just a lot of ways it could go. So, I'm just on pins and needles for all.
What would you do? What would you do if you're Ross?
If I'm Ross, all right, because you're taking that big cap hit, and I almost feel like I would just go with next season, almost close to what you have. Give it that one last shot. I think you maybe have seen from that 4-game win streak that you like some of what what Mike McDaniel did with the team. This win itself, after bouncing back from 45-21, you maybe give him another year. And then so after 2026, that if that doesn't go, then that's where you tear it from the top down or the bottom up, however you want to say it, and then start brand new there. But while you're taking the $99 million dead cap hit, if you do go that, which, all right, I would just do that. I think that's a good way to just set yourself up for a strong draft pick in 2027. Then let them be the ones to handle that, either finish off that mess and then that way you have a more desirable situation for the following cycle where you can maybe go.
You actually give you give those guys any hope next year? Because I don't. To me, that's just.
They're going to be put in a very difficult situation because of what they've already done with the Tua contract and how much that's going to saddle you now that he's no longer the answer here. So kind of like finish off your own mess,
I know, but the guy you're keeping is part of the reason why you have that mess, because he's the guy that wanted Tua paid.
Right.
He's the one that wanted. By the way, he's the one that wanted Tyreek paid. Now in the end, the front office got shelved, and they should have, because they shouldn't listen to their coaches that much. They should do what's right actually instead. So they get all the blame in the end for all of it. But this is not a guy. I personally think you're wasting your time putting those guys back. You're better off trying to find a football person and let that start new, instead of you're going to allow two people to do damage to the football team down the line. Now you have 2 years of extra picks, and you're giving the wrong people the opportunity to take advantage of turning around the franchise with that. Which, by the way, this draft is looking better and better every day.
That's another point. I was just thinking that as you were speaking, is this game sort of signified that. It was the rookie class coming through between QB Ewers finding Theo Weiss for each of their first touchdowns. Jason Marshall with his first career interception. Zeke Biggers as a rookie making the blocking a field goal. And that Andrew Meyer, who is not a rookie, but a second-year player who was playing in his first NFL game because he never got into any snaps as an undrafted rookie that made the roster last year. Handled the center position today. Did have one hold, but I got to watch the film because I'm not watching the center every play. But I got to watch the film. But I think he handled his responsibilities. It's not like it was to the Dolphins' detriment by any means. So he's another guy who another first for the team this year. So or in this game. So the rookie class looking a little bit more promising.
Yeah, that's my point. That with the class, and then you've got all these picks coming up, and you're going to be a bad team. This is where I want a really good GM. And by the way, you can bring in a GM, and Stephen Ross can do what he wanted to do with the first idiot a few years ago. Hey, we're going to tank, right? Yeah, Steve, we're going to tank. And then now next year, all the cap issues and all that, everybody will know you're going to suck anyway. So, that kind of that allows the new person to tear it down. If you keep these people, they're trying to, what did I tell you from that building? They're all trying to what? Save their ass.
Save their ass. Yeah.
Exactly. So by keeping these people around, you just keeping around the stuff that is saving their asses and not the difference makers.
I'm with you. If that's the route, is if you find your guy this offseason, I'm totally with that. And then maybe that person does have to go through a tough 2026 season. If you can find the right guy, then I'm totally with it. And then let him make the decisions of what it's going to be, who is going to be at every level of this organization. Then because most importantly, it's the cleanup of just the foundation of football decision making that is the top priority.
All right, your final assessment of Ewers. What did you see today that you would say moving forward he is this?
Moving forward, he is a guy that I think should have the right to compete for a starting spot next year, unless the Dolphins go find themselves a surefire starter. But he did just fine today again, and probably just fine in his first game. It was just everything around him that kind of unraveled in that loss to the Bengals. So I think he is comfortable in this offense. It's similar to what he ran in Texas. So he's on a good front there. He can, when a play breaks down, he can make something happen when it's not necessarily his read, but he just identifies something in the coverage, like with the Weiss touchdown. Like he saw where the safety was and said, okay, now Weiss is going to be wide open, and he goes and he can pivot to find him quickly, make that play. It showed some anticipation with the touchdown to Greg Dulcich. So I like a lot of what we are seeing. He went for a scrambling first down when he was talking about that. It was that in his mind, it was a gotta have it first down, and went and got it, diving forward and then showing off a little bit of swag with with getting up and signaling first down, which the teammates love to see that out of their quarterback. So I'm impressed with Quinn. I like what I'm seeing early on, and sure, right now these are just not meaningless, but it's just you're not vying for any spot.
These are the best reps
for a lot of people. Yeah,
dude, these reps. He's not going to get these reps in April mini camps or June mini camps.
Exactly.
Or the preseason, dude. He's not getting any. Yeah. These are very important reps for him. I'm not there as a starter. As okay, I got my guy that maybe he can battle for sure to be a backup for sure right now. Now, if I draft somebody, if I bring in a veteran or something, maybe I start him and I bridge Ewers and somebody else. Or if I do spend a draft pick, then obviously then I'll have to handle it a little different. But at least I know I have a guy that's not a number 3 anymore.
Yeah.
That I have a guy that can either be a 2 or who knows after that, But at least a guy I can battle for a 2 for sure. You know, that's what I like. At least you 7th round pick. Right now, I know. Okay, you know, it's not like Thompson, bro. You know, after all that investment, he goes out there and he can't even hand off the ball. And you're like, yo, bro, what the hell is going on, Skyler? You know what I mean? So this guy didn't look like Skyler.
And it also depends. It also depends on this factor is what the future of McDaniel is, because I think then this system benefits Quinn Ewers. So we're seeing, you know, a better system for him, where they ran Steve Sarkisian at Texas ran some of Mike McDaniel's plays, ran a similar offensive scheme. So if you do go a different direction and now you have a different offense too, then that also changes things as well. But in this system, then he's a guy who could at least compete for a job. And you know he's not a QB3. If you invest in the quarterback position, like with a high draft pick, then all right, you figure you're investing in that player, and Quinn could be a decent backup. But if you're just kind of bridging it, then yeah, he's a guy who should be allowed to compete for next season.
All right, on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up later on in the week.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
You got it. There he is, David Furones, Welton Rayom. If you're dealing with bankruptcy, which there's no shame in that could happen to me, it could happen to any of us. Things are tough right now, man. Homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom are the bookend tackles. I experienced it when they took on Progressive. Lots of our listeners all over Florida, actually, which is amazing. At first, I was only talking about South Florida, and then all of a sudden, Central Florida, over on the West Coast. Sadly, I wish nobody called on the West Coast. They only called because they had those back-to-back storms a couple of years ago, and, you know, which I wish it never happened, obviously, you know what I mean? But if any of this, nobody wants to deal with commercial litigation, no one wants to deal with personal injury, but this could happen to any of us. And if it does, please call Welton Rayom. And by the way, if you have damage to your home, condo, or business, first thing you do is call the insurance company. That's the worst thing you do. Call Welton Rayom. They have their own adjusters. They will send them over right away. Get it all assessed, and then they attack the insurance company for you. It's a beautiful thing. You know how it is? You never have to deal with the insurance company. Welton Rayom handles it all, and then the only thing you're doing is picking up a check at the office. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
The Toxic Fart chimes in, says, I'll be 56 on Saturday. I'm resigned to not seeing another Dolphins Super Bowl. No matter who the coach is, I was 4 for the last win. I'll still root for them to win. Take care of my brother. You know, I'm kind of reserved to that fact that with Ross, we're done, bro. You know, it's hard. I'll watch, I'll root. I love the team. But, yeah, it's hard for me to be hopeful of the Miami Dolphins with Stephen Ross as the owner. Venmo, Rob Erickson, thank you for the love on Venmo. Appreciate your generosity. He says, Furones is the only beat writer who's okay with bringing McDaniel back. LOL. McDaniel probably takes him out for ice cream with the team when they win a game. Yeah, I don't understand Furones' love affair with that. I really don't. I would gut this franchise like a fish, dude. Rob Erickson, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. You're a stud. So David wants to waste picks that fit McDaniel's system in a year of rebuild. LOL. Why? If so, I'd hope we are drafting mostly defensive players then. I don't want them touching these picks. I want a new football person to take over. This whole thing about, hanging in there because of the cap. No, dude, that's fine. That's what a good football person wants. Oh, wow. These fans can't expect shit for 2 years. We got all these cap issues. I got all these extra picks. They've got a great draft that they just are coming off of. If I put together 2 more drafts in 3 years, I will be king in this town and I will own this bitch. That's what a GM should say. I'm in Miami. I'm in a no-tax state. They got a good draft. They got some young players. I've got a boatload of picks over the next 2 years. I've got no pressure. Any football person with a brain wants this situation. What they don't want is, oh, no, I want a GM, but I want you to stay with McDaniel for a year. Oh, no, I want you to hang into Tua or what. No. You got to give the keys to the kingdom to the guy and let that person gut this franchise. That's the only way. George 5524, thank you for the love on Cash App. He says, oh, maybe Ross wants status quo for the franchise so he can pass down the team to his kids with as little volatility as possible. Well, but you're also going to have a fan base that is extremely toxic at this point, and apathy is starting to set in with the Dolphins, which is something that I'm not used to seeing. Ray, thank you for the love on Venmo. He says, happy for the team, especially for the young players. If you dissect CG Vision in the past 2 drafts, he started to build the trenches, just needed some time to develop and one more draft to keep building both sides of the trenches, but who knows? Yes, you're right. Chris Greer added some trench players the last 2 years. You are right. You are right. And John Nazarene on Venmo one more time. He says, trade Jalen Waddle. Appreciate all of you out there as always. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And of course, you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. Let's do it. The one and only Chris Perkins. Let's find out what's percolating with Mr. Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
Time to go to the locker room, Miami Dolphins fans. Let's find out what's percolating with the one and only Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report.
Oh, Perk. Gotta say, Perk, good performance for the Dolphins today. I didn't think they would win. I thought Tampa needing the win and all that. But I think the rip job by the coach for Tampa a couple of weeks ago, he lost that team. And they look kind of lifeless today for a team that had everything on the line. But kudos to the Dolphins, dude. They played hungry from start to finish in this game.
Yeah, and you know what, Big O? I like what we saw from the young players. From you could say the draftees, but Theo Weiss was technically not a draftee. He was an undrafted rookie. But look, Quinn Ewers gave you something that you couldn't help but notice, right? Zeke Biggers with the block kick, Jason Marshall Jr. with the interception. You saw, and not from a rookie, but from a young player, Andrew Meyer at center, the second year undrafted rookie out of UTEP. You saw some good stuff from the young players today. And look, if you include third year and younger players, well, let's put Devon Achane in the mix. Let's put Patrick Paul in the mix. So you saw some really encouraging things out of the young players, but out of that rookie draft class specifically, you saw all 8 of them out there doing something today. Dante Trader Jr. Was on the minimal end of it, but we've seen him play this season. Jonas Savaiinaya is coming along. He's not going to make anybody's all-rookie team by any stretch, but he's coming along and he's developing. So I think if you're a Dolphins fan, you've got to like what you've seen from the third year and younger players overall, and you've really got to be encouraged by what you see from this draft class, this rookie draft class. Now, I will say this, Big O.
By the way, Jalen Wright has really found a spot now.
Yes, Jalen Wright, another one of those young players, right? I will say this about the rookie draft class. Remember, 6 of the 8 of them are 5th, 6th, and 7th rounders. So I'm not going to get too excited about them yet. Maybe there's a Rashad Jones in there who has a 5th round pick. Maybe there's a couple of those guys. For the long term, it's encouraging what you saw today and this season, but for the long term, I still need to see a little more. But thumbs up to that rookie draft class.
For sure. It's like the Quinn Ewers thing today.
Yeah, right, correct.
You saw it, but the way I see it is, okay, my 7th round pick guaranteed can battle to be a backup for sure. No 3 now.
Right.
This guy for sure can battle. I'm not saying one, because he's light years away from getting there. But, it isn't Skylar Thompson, who came out after 2.5 years and he couldn't even hand off the damn ball. You know, the Quinn Ewers looked like a capable person out there. The game didn't look too big for him or anything like that. So now I know that my 7th rounder, okay, I got a kid for sure that can be my backup next year, at least, or battle or whatever. And if next year I come in and bring a veteran because I don't spend any kind of money or whatever, it's a transition, I can have my veteran start and then kind of work Ewers in and see as I get him, playing time piecemeal wise, I can develop him, along the way. You could probably do something like that next year. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree. That at the very worst, this is a guy who can compete to be your backup quarterback, maybe possibly be your backup quarterback next season. But you don't have to go out and in free agency and in the draft get 2 starting caliber quarterbacks. You could probably get 1 starting caliber quarterback, one guy you could probably get, if I could take you back to 2012, maybe the Matt Moore and who was our guy who was going to start, and then he hurt his knee and Tannehill came in. David Garrard. Yeah, so you remember it was going to be Garrard as a starter and Matt Moore as the backup and Tannehill as the third teamer. Then Garrard injures his knee, and then they figured, well, let's play the rook. You could probably have a 3-quarterback lineup, something similar to that, going into next season, and have Quinn compete to be the starter. I think he's done well enough at this point to go that far with him. Nobody's going in with the idea you don't need to get a starting quarterback. You've got it. That's not what Quinn has showed you, but he's shown you enough that he could. I think he can definitely compete to be the backup and maybe even be your backup at this point.
For sure, yeah, that's what I'm seeing in the kid. That I at least I think I can see him in the backup mode. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with Furones now. Okay, because
have we lost him?
I think we lost him a little bit here. He's kind of comfortable with bringing McDaniel back.
Yeah.
I don't really understand what's going on. One of our listeners thinks that he takes him out for ice cream or something. I'm not sure what's going on there. But let me tell you something, okay, Perk. This team, it's funny because obviously I've been following it since I was a kid and covering it now for 35 years. Yep. They haven't had a front office since the 70s.
Right.
Like a really great front office when they had Young and Thomas and Beathard and those guys that helped Shula. And then it kind of died out. And then since then, they tried with Jimmy and they tried with Parcells and they just haven't been able to find their guy and all that kind of stuff. You're coming off a couple of years here where you found some players. And you look at the team, it's not a great team right now, but there are pieces that you can work with and build with. Now, this past offseason was the weirdest offseason I have ever seen for a general manager with his ass on the line.
Yeah.
He had the most selfless offseason I have ever seen in my life. He didn't do what Tannenbaum did. He didn't do what Shula did on his way out and all that. Many of the guys in the past, Wanstead, they would spend future draft picks. They would spend future money and all that. They realized all the mistakes they had made. And this past offseason, they didn't go out. Daniels was like the biggest, and that's like an $8 million deal, which is garbage. That's nothing. That's like a 3rd-tier lineman, really, in free agency. So you're not even spending elite money. So, and then you made future trades for picks where you got extra 3rd, extra 5th, all that. So now, if I'm Stephen Ross, which obviously I'm not, but if I'm Stephen Ross, I'm going, okay, this is my moment for me to get my Bill Zito. And I got to find my football guru and get the F out of the way. And if he needs to gut this whole thing like a fish, he guts it. And he gets whoever he wants for his head coach, for his general manager, and he sets the football structure in place. Why? Because my general manager now has 2 years of honeymoon because of all the cap issues. But in those 2 years, you're going to have a boatload of picks, plus the young guys that you have. Now you've got a foundation. If I keep around this Champ Kelly guy who's untested and nothing, if I keep McDaniel around for another year, I'm going to waste those future draft picks on those people that aren't really going to be here long term. To me, you're at an important crossroad for Stephen Ross. One for age, because how much longer, when are you going to see this, right? So if I'm him, I do everything to find my football person. And, you're going to have to roll the dice and put it on that person and step back, because what I heard from the building this week is basically in that building, everybody's trying to save their asses. And the last thing they want is an ultimate football person to come in, because they know that ultimate football person will cost a lot of people their jobs. So there's a lot of people out there fighting around the old man trying to save their asses in there. So for me, I think you're actually at a really important crossroad that you can take advantage of over the next 2 years for transition purposes and all the picks that you're going to have.
Big O, you've got to get your football people in here. You've got to get the old people out of here. And what I don't like about the old way of thinking is they believed in rewarding numbers. I believe in rewarding accomplishments. Those contract extensions that went out after 2023, Big O, they rewarded numbers. They rewarded the number one offense in the league, and they recorded the speed finesse system. I want to reward playoff victories. If it doesn't turn into playoff victories, I'm sorry, you've got to go. And you had your chance. Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, Tua, you had your chance to do something. You took a team that had back-to-back winning seasons and turned it into a team that made back-to-back playoff appearances. That was your peak, and now you're back on the way down with back-to-back losing seasons. That's not good enough. You haven't showed me enough. I know you're finishing strongly. It's not enough. If you're Steve Ross, you've got to get out with the old and in with the new. And look, here's the other thing, Big O. If you're thinking offensively, you've got to take advantage of Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle while they're still in their prime for the next 3, maybe 4 years, right? Get this thing going. You bring back Aaron Brewer on offense. You bring back Ingold, Patrick Paul, Jonah, Austin Jackson, Quinn Ewers. You've got some potential there. You're not making the playoffs next year, most likely, although you can. We saw what Chicago did. I'm not going to rule it out. But really, you should continue gearing up. At the top of the draft, Big O, you've got a first, a second, and 3 thirds. You add something to that defense, Big O, with Chop Robinson and Zach Sealer and Kenneth Grant and Zeke Biggers and Jordan Phillips and Jordan Brooks, Minka Fitzpatrick. I don't know what they do at corners with Rasul Douglas and Jack Jones. I don't know what they do at safety. You've got to get some extra. You got to get some extra edge rushers. I don't think Bradley Chubb is going to be here, right? I think the 3 big salary cap people are Tua, Tyreek, and Bradley Chubb. But you've got the basis of a decent team coming back. Get your football people in here, get your books in order next year, and be ready to make a serious run in 2027. And serious run, I mean winning a playoff game. I'm not saying Super Bowl, but you should. Yes, you should be in position in 2027 to win a playoff game. Steve Ross, get your football people in here in 2026. Don't wait. Don't extend Mike McDaniel. Don't give Mike McDaniel another year. You've got to break off with this and get this thing rolling again. Again, you've got Achane and Waddle and Aaron Brewer and Patrick Paul. Take advantage of that.
Okay, so then I got to follow up this. Then you're contradicting yourself because you want Lamar. There's no ownership. There's no head coach. There's no general manager. There's no foundation. To me, I was getting already the Malik Willis stuff. Trading for Mendoza, that's stupid. Malik Willis, that's stupid. Lamar Jackson, that's stupid. Those guys aren't going to bail you out where you're at right now. You're in a transition for the next couple of years. None of those guys are good. Baltimore has great ownership, great front office, a head coach that's better than all the guys we've had combined since Shula. Okay. They felt their team this year was the best team they've had in years, and they didn't do anything with it. Lamar's not saving our asses. So I heard you say that, and I was like, why would you do that right now? This is not the time to do any of those things.
No, I'm 100% bringing in Lamar because he's a proven quantity. He's a 2-time MVP who I believe is 29 years old. He'll only be 30 next year. You can have him at his peak for 7 or 8 years, right?
No, you can't. He's a running quarterback. That's bullshit.
But
running
he
will not age well. And by the way, the Dolphins, he doesn't win playoff games.
He will adjust his game as he gets older, like Dwayne Wade did, like Steve Young did. You can't run forever, right? You just can't. Everybody knows that. Lamar will realize that.
His completion percentage is at 63%. It's one of the lowest he's had in his career.
But Big O, look at his touchdowns to interceptions this year. What is he, like 16 to 8 or something like that? 3-1. Okay, yeah.
Or something like that. And 3 of his last 5 years, he's played 12 games.
Yep, he gets hurt. He gets hurt. Him and Joe Burrow both get hurt. We know that.
He can't make a living in the pocket. He's a running quarterback. He's like Jalen Hurts. If he can't use his legs, he's not going to be effective. This is poorly. You've got
to retrain this guy. He's got the skill. He can be good enough. He can be good enough, Big O. I mean, look.
Good enough to live from the pocket. He lives with because he can ad-lib. The ad-libbing is what helps his average, his completion percentage. If he stays in the pocket, he'll be in the high 50s, mid 50s as a completion percentage guy. If
he can be better than that. Let me ask you this, Big O. Who do you think is a better quarterback, him or Jalen Hurts? Because I think Lamar is a better quarterback.
Either one. I don't think either one's a great passer. You know who's a great passer runner combination? Jaden Daniels can do that.
Big O,
and Lamar, they rely on their legs. Jaden Daniels, the guy that says, I'll burn you with the run. Oh, wait a minute, you're stopping me? No problem. I'll make a living right here. I'll park my tent, smoke a cigar, and just burn your ass. CJ Stroud's the same way. They're more passer-oriented type quarterbacks. To me, that running quarterback like Josh will last a little longer because he's bigger. He could take more hits. To me, Lamar Jackson, this is the worst time to get on that bandwagon because that bandwagon's going to break down and it will not age well. That's just me.
Yes, I disagree. I think you reprogram the guy. He's not a terrible passer. He's a good football player. He's a good quarterback. He's a good athlete. He's a good passer. He's not a Hall of Fame passer. He's a good passer. But Big O, to me, the big thing.
Retrain the guy that falls asleep in meetings and plays too much video games, and so really committed, and he forces them to practice in the afternoons because he doesn't like morning practices. You guys are going to reprogram.
Yes, you hear all this stuff because people are unhappy with him. You didn't hear this a year ago or 2 years ago, did you? But now now things are going sideways, and it appears you might need a way out. So now you trash the guy. It's not us. It's Lamar. It's the 2-time MVP who's the anchor. Okay, right. The 2-time MVP is holding you back. Okay, right. You want me to believe that? Sure. Come on.
And it's so Dolphins to pick up people on the downside of their careers in the latter part of their careers.
This is a 2-time MVP quarterback who wants to come home, or if he does, we don't know. We haven't heard from Lamar. Okay, I don't think Baltimore's letting him go anyway.
Wait a minute, but it's a 2-time MVP that's had everything around him to win. He doesn't have anything around him that's the same here in Miami.
Well,
and yet you think the results are going to be. He doesn't win playoff games in Baltimore with Pro Bowl tight ends, and they gave him Derrick Henry this year.
You can say the same thing for Josh Allen. Look, neither Lamar nor Josh has been to a Super Bowl. So you can say the same thing, but I would take either quarterback, Big O, and there would be a huge improvement over everything you've had here.
Josh Allen is better, dude. Josh Allen is better.
Okay, but he's not available. Not available.
I know.
I would take Lamar. If Lamar is available, you'd be a fool to turn him down, Big O. He's an elite quarterback. Elite quarterbacks get you places in this league. But I would say this also. If you look at guys like C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams and Bo Nix, they have defenses. Look at the defensive numbers this year, Big O. And that was the same thing with Jalen Hurts last year.
I didn't mention Bo Nix or Caleb Williams. Those guys.
I know.
Those guys are iffy passers still. I mentioned Jaden Daniels.
Yes,
and
I know.
Jay Stroud, because those guys are a lot more of what you're really looking for in this league. Guys that can run, but running is not the reason why they're also an effective quarterback. And that's the difference with these other guys. If you take away their legs, they're not the same quarterback. And that's a huge problem. Pat Mahomes can run if you want. If you need it, fine. But if not, he'll sit back there and kill you. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of guy I'd rather go after, not these guys.
Well, but Big O, who's available? Like, you've got to if Lamar is available, I don't think Lamar is going to be available. Number one, this to me, this is like that fire Mike Tomlin chant, and until Mike Tomlin gets you back into the playoff picture, and then the fans are like, well, maybe we should keep Mike around. I think with Lamar, it's easy to have hurt feelings right now because you aren't going to make the playoffs and this, that, and the other. But once it gets about 2 or 3 weeks into the offseason and Baltimore looks around and sees who's available as an alternative to Lamar, yeah, you're going to start talking good about Lamar again. Well, let's just rest his legs in the offseason and blah, blah, blah. The narrative won't be the same on Lamar in the next 3 weeks, just like it's not the same on Mike Tomlin right now. That, you realize how fortunate you are to have a Harbaugh and a Tomlin or a Lamar Jackson. It's going to happen with Sean McDermott if Buffalo doesn't make the Super Bowl this year, right? Get this bum out of here. And then in 2 or 3 weeks, people are going to go, are we going to hire Mike McDaniel to replace Sean McDermott? Maybe we should keep Sean McDermott. So I think I would take Lamar, but I don't think Lamar is going to be available.
I would think it'd be a dumb thing because you're already through cap issues, and all you're going to do is tie yourself to more money. And plus,
there is
this offseason where you don't worry about a quarterback at all. You don't kill yourself in trying to get the 1 or 2 that may be available in the draft, which you're really not going to get because you're too far away. Anyways, Giants aren't moving out of the top 5.
Right.
They can get a boatload of picks so they can still get Bain or anybody else in the top. This is silliness from Dolphin fans. And this is not the year to go some stupid, crazy shit for Lamar Jackson or anybody else. Stay the course, turn over the damn roster, get through all the cap issues, draft your players. Don't be big players in free agency. You're not going to have money anyways.
Nope. No money. Yeah.
Do any of that. You have no chance with or without Lamar or anybody. Nobody's getting you out of this hole right now. That's my point. So why would you do any of that stupidness now? Why would you give away picks for a young guy that you don't even know is going to be? Why would you give away picks for an old guy that you don't even know if it's going to work and your team's not even close to complete? He has everything in Baltimore and can't win playoff games. He doesn't have anything in Miami and he's going to all of a sudden win. Get the hell out of here.
But you know what, Big O? You got to look at Baltimore's record of giving up big leads, especially at home. And I tell people this all the time, that that Baltimore defense, look at how many leads they give up in the fourth quarter. This isn't all on Lamar. This is a whole team thing. Take a look at that. Take a look at how many leads that team blows.
I know the defense, by the way, the defense for Joe Flacco wasn't that good. It was a middling defense.
Yeah. They were playmakers.
Flacco threw 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in a playoff run. That's why they won that year, because Flacco bet on himself, and he had the year of his life, and he won the lotto and then screwed everybody after that.
Right.
But he had the year of his now 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. It's one hell of a run. Okay.
Right.
But since then, since back in the early 2000s, they haven't had those kind of defenses in a long time.
Right, they haven't. I've always said Joe Flacco's superpower is he wins road playoff games. There's not many quarterbacks in history who win road playoff games. That's what Joe Flacco can do.
He had a badass year that year. He did. He to a contract dispute with Baltimore, and he said, no. Well, he did the Warren Moon thing. You're old enough. We got a bunch of young people watching. Warren Moon. No. You people are trying to rip me off. Okay, let's do this. If my stats are top 3, you're paying me top 3. And they said, okay. And he went and was like number 1 or number 2 or whatever, because Warren Moon was a badass and a half. Yeah. And that's exactly what Flacco did. He had a dispute. He goes, no. We're going to play one more year. And boom, and his agent made a killing.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson did that too, remember? And his mom was his agent. He bet on himself. But we won't go back down that road. We're not going to agree on Lamar.
No. I just don't agree that right now you should do anything if you're the Dolphins. It makes no sense. I think you're at a very important point where you need to go find your football person and let that football person take advantage of your last couple of drafts that you actually have some players here that can help you with a foundation. And then the next 2 drafts have extra picks. So I want to give it to somebody that actually knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, Big O, I've said, look, this isn't the year to force the quarterback. Continue to build the trenches. That's, because I've had this argument with people that, go up there and get Mendoza. And I said, you know what's going to happen? You're going to bring Mendoza here. And in October, you're going to go, this guy has no pass protection. He's getting killed back there. He's going to be David Carr. Yes, go right, but slow and steady, Big O. I agree with you. I will make an exception for Lamar, but slow and steady, build the trenches. You've got the picks, especially at the top of the draft, a first, a second, and 3 third. That's 2 starters, Big O. That should be 2 starters and 2 major contributors.
Yeah, I don't want Mike McDaniel and Champ in charge of that coming up.
Yeah,
that's stupid. It's ridiculous.
I'm still trying to get over them trading out of the 3rd and 4th rounds last year, especially when you needed a starting cornerback. I know you traded up to get Jonah, which, I didn't agree with that, but whatever. I don't like trading out of the 3rd and 4th when you need draft picks, you need starters, you need major contributors. Hopefully they don't.
There was 0 attempt to try to win. It was all a fiscal reset.
Right, correct.
They did everything for the future, everything that they like. Chris Greer's ass was on the line, and he had the most selfless offseason I have ever seen a general manager in my life. I saw Lundstedt go out the door spending picks and money and all that. I saw Tannenbaum do the same shit. I saw Shula on the back end because the cap had just started in those days. He didn't know what he was doing. He got the Dolphins in all kinds of trouble. Everyone I've seen, anyone that their asses have been on the line, they have put the team in a bigger hole the following year. And he did not, because he understood he had already screwed up with the other contract.
Right.
And he's like, I can't have another irresponsible offseason, which is crazy when your ass is on the line, because that's really what you should do. And instead, he got the team extra picks for the next couple of years. He saved them cap space in the Jalen Ramsey trade.
You know what? I think that was Brandon Shore, Big O. Brandon Shore, obviously one of his big deals, he's the salary capologist. They hope he turns into their Andy Ellisberg. But, Brandon Shore has a lot of power here. And I've been telling people this, that, I know from talking to people in the building, and from just looking around, he's gaining power. He's in charge of analytics. He's in charge of security. He's in charge of video. He's in charge of the sod farm. He keeps a list of players, kind of like a general manager would do, so that when Chris Grier would go to him and say, can we afford this guy? He wouldn't have to do the research at the time. He would already have a file on the guy and say, he's not worth 5'8", he's worth 3'2". And here's why. I've looked at his video, blah, blah, blah. So Brandon Shore is a trusted guy. Last offseason, I know it's his fiscal responsibility getting the books in order and telling Chris Grier, no, we're not doing that. We're getting the books in order. So
but he didn't tell him no for
Tua. Or right.
Correct. And Jalen Ramsey.
Right.
And Mike McDaniel, by the way. Why the hell would you extend Mike McDaniel?
With 2 years left on his deal? Jalen Waddle was the only good extension that I would have done that offseason. It remains team friendly. The rest of them, bad deals. Shouldn't have done them.
That's my point.
That's why he stepped up now, because he was silent back then. He stepped up this last offseason. Too little, too late, but he's his voice is growing in the organization. I will tell you that for a fact.
I would gut this organization like a fish is what I would gut this organization. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Mr. Perkins, as always, thank you, sir. We appreciate your time.
All right, Big O. We'll do it next week.
You got it, baby. One more time next week. EJD Construction, We love talking about Eric, 305-433-4843. You got to hire the people that you can trust. And, sometimes there's some shady contractors out there, and he's a contractor. He can build anything, a house, a second floor, whatever it is. You want a waterfall in your house? He could probably do that too. He can do anything, except maybe have TLC singing the waterfall song at the same time. But he can do everything else for you. But my point is, there's a lot of shady contractors out there, and you hire them, and you don't realize they're not fully insured. And then they're working, and somebody gets injured, and then they're suing you. And you're like, oh, yo, wait a minute. This is not my fault. Oh, I'm not insured. Well, EJD Construction, fully insured, baby. Liability, workers' comp, so you never have to worry. They use shell construction in-house. That's how they keep the cost down for you. And, of course, hey, man, AAA plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Call the man, Eric. Dade or Broward counties, home or business, no condos, by the way, home or businesses, 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report with the Sun Sentinel's Chris Perkins. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Johnny says if you could get a first ballot Hall of Fame QB, you do it. Sure. But I don't think Lamar Jackson is worth it right now. Why would I want to get Lamar Jackson at this point? A running quarterback that's aging, that doesn't age well, and he's small. So it's not like he's, Josh Allen size or Cam Newton size that they could take a beating. He's already breaking down. That's not a guy I'm trading for. That will be a massively stupid idea. And I'll be laughing my ass off and then crying at the same time, knowing that the Dolphins are going nowhere. The guy has everything in Baltimore and can't win playoff games. He has nothing in Miami, but he's going to change their entire direction. What are you people smoking? And then he says the whole 3-year rebuild thing is a myth. Oh, you could say that, but in 3 years, the New England Patriots have rebuilt themselves. So, the Houston Texans within a couple of years have kind of rebuilt themselves too. You can have a few drafts, get the right front office people, a coach and quarterback, and you're off and running. The problem is the Dolphins never fixed a rebuild because they don't have the right owner. They don't have the right front office. They don't have the right head coach. And they don't have the right quarterback. So what are you going to do, dude? That's the crazy part. You can't do anything about that. Let's see. David Redford says, if we dump McD, who do we bring in? Well, I talked about this earlier this week, and I gave out a list. Joe Brady is one. Marcus Freeman, I like a lot from Notre Dame. I think Robert Salah is another one that deserves a second chance. I like him. And then to a lesser extent, even David Shaw. It's interesting how Campbell took over the play calling when he got rid of the OC, because Ben Johnson was the guy that made the real difference in Detroit, and that's kind of what's exposing Campbell now. And the passing game under Shaw was number top 4, top 3 or something like that in the NFL, and he didn't put Shaw in there, which was weird. But David Shaw is another guy that's kind of bounced around. But I really love Marcus Freeman and Joe Brady. Those are ones that I would. Freeman really looks like a guy that can bring things together. But yeah, I would try. I need to get, that's the head coach, but I need to get a football person first. That's what I need to do if I'm the Dolphins before anything else. But there are head coaches out there that you can try to bring in, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation, and we always appreciate that. Thank you all out there. as always. Brett, Hans, and Franz, and we're here to pump you up. People will complain about Tua with injuries and not winning big games who want Lamar, LOL. Our fan base is losing IQ points daily, Big O. And the guy has everything. Tua doesn't have any of that. That's the funny part. Tua doesn't have a damn thing like that, and yet, but whatever. It is what it is, man. What are you going to do? Anyway. Johnny says, we'll end up with Chad Henne. I'll take Lamar. I don't think this is the year you take any quarterback. I think you sit back and retool the team and deal with a difficult season like you have now. I think whoever gets Lamar gets the exploding cigar. Lamar, the exploding cigar. That's what's going to end up happening when you sign Lamar. So, Big O watching from Central New York. Good stuff. Agree 100%. Is it me, or did Ewers look a lot more comfortable than Tua? Just think if he had a better coaching. Yes. I like what I saw from Ewers, and you can build from that. Tua's screwed up, bro. Something's wrong with Tua physically, mentally, whatever. He something's wrong. We'll eventually we'll find out. Jim, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Had the Dolphins cut bait last year and hired Vrabel, things would be totally different. It would be nice if we would have taken that opportunity and try to fire McD in the middle of the season, go after Vrabel. Big Johnson says we need good leadership from a coach that knows what play it is and what play to call at the right time. Amen to that. I will still support and cheer for Tua going forward. He will do better with a real coach. I agree with you. Tua will do better in his next stop if whatever physically is ailing him is fixed. Something's screwed up there, dude. Something's wrong with that kid. That, like many of you have mentioned it, the hip injury that he took a year and a half ago, that thing screwed him up. Okay? That thing screwed him up. That's what I think, but we'll find out. Maybe he needs to go to some treatment. Maybe he needs to go back to Nick Hicks. Maybe he needs to do all of the above and more to find his juju or whatever it is. But I agree. If he can fix himself physically and play like he was playing 2 and 3 years ago, I agree with you. With better coaching, a better atmosphere, he'll have way more success. But if he can't fix himself physically, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Wasn't Joe Brady, Joe Burrow's OC in college? Yes, sir. He was. Yes, sir. You are correct. So, acting like we evaluate QBs like the Packers. No, Johnny, they don't evaluate anything like it. You know what I mean? But I guess that's where we'll disagree. The evaluation of Lamar Jackson at this point will be a huge mistake. Okay? Just like he hasn't gotten it done anyway in Baltimore. And he's had everything in Baltimore. Absolutely everything. He has one of the best coaches in the business. He has one of the best owners in the business. He's had terrific teams. And he never gets it done. So, it is what it is. I can't argue what I see that is obvious. Okay? All right. Let's get to our Moody's Dental MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? There's only one MVP for your family's dental care.
Moody's Dental. Get your smile back at Moody's Dental. Visit them on Instagram at moodys.dental.
Here's our Moody's Dental MVP of the night.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins defense. To me, the Dolphins defense was the MVP of the night. They caused turnovers. Mayfield had 2 interceptions in the game. He also had a fumble. Bradley Chubb caused that fumble. Bradley Chubb had 2 sacks in that game also. Jack Jones came up big, played well. Rasul Douglas was giving Mike Evans problems, dude. Rasul Douglas giving Mike Evans problems. Tyrell Dodson picked up a sack. So, I mean, overall, the defense to me was key. They controlled pretty much this game throughout, and Baker and the boys could not get it going, and they really gave Miami every opportunity. The block field goal for Biggers, 20-17, dude. Right there. Zeke Biggers block. We're playing overtime with that touchdown, that late touchdown by the Bucks. We're playing overtime. You know? So defense for me, they're the ones that kept it clean like you can do when you go to Moody's Dental in Dade, 305-821-0231 in Plantation, 954-692-6825. And folks, Invisaligns, dental implants, preventive care, cosmetic surgery. Get your smile back. Call them for an appointment. Follow them on Instagram at moodius.dental. The Dolphin defense are Moody's Dental MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by Moody's Dental.
From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams. To schedule an appointment in Dade, call 305-821-0231. In Broward, 954-692-6825. Follow them on Instagram at moodias.dental, providing MVP smiles every day of the year.
We talk about somebody bringing the edge, and that's somebody that brings it every week, and today was no different. So let's go with our Cutter's Edge Pro, difference maker of the game.
Who brought the edge? Who changed the game? Who is our Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker? When you want to give your home or business the edge, call Cutter's Edge Pro in South Florida for all your landscape solutions. Here's our Cutter'sEdgePro.com difference maker.
I got to go with Bradley Chubb, man. You know, he has been the pros pro. I really admire Bradley Chubb. He was having a nasty season last year, dude. And then he got injured at the end of the year in a meaningless game at a time that he didn't need to be on the field, but Mike McDaniel's a moron. And, you know, he could have been bitter about it. He could have pointed fingers. He could have, and never did any of that. He's been a leader. He's been a professional. And every week, the guy has played hard. He produced 2 more sacks today. He produced a forced fumble on top of all of that. He's got 8.5 sacks on the season. He's got 2 forced fumbles. I believe he had 6 last year. He's got 2 forced fumbles on the year. He has had a terrific year overall. I know that it's a rough year for all of us as Dolphin fans. It's hard to look at anything in a positive light, and I understand that. But individually, we have to give people credit, like an Achane, like a Bradley Chubb. You know, people that are bringing it every week, no matter what the environment is. If you're winning or you're losing, or you fired your coach, or you fired your general manager, or there's injuries, whatever, there is a level of professionalism that you have to really appreciate with Bradley Chubb. And at no point could you ever say that Bradley Chubb is a bad character dude. You can't say he's a loafer. You can't say that motor's not going all the way. I have been nothing but extremely impressed, and he's coming off a knee injury to have this season also. So Bradley Chubb, for me, like William Quigley and the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro, he's got 70, 80 trucks out there, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, landscaping, outdoor lighting, irrigation, artificial grass. And it doesn't matter if it's summer, doesn't matter if it's winter, doesn't matter if it's fall, Doesn't matter what's going on in South Florida. If it's storm season, they are there for you. They're like Bradley Chubb. They're there all the time, and they're making a difference. And by the way, if you don't have landscaping in your home, you can add it, and that adds value to your home. Plus, it might even save you money. It also might even create a better lifestyle for you. Like our backyard now, we've got trees all over. So like 60, 70% of the yard, sometimes maybe even 80% of the yard is covered in certain times of the day. That allows the dogs to go out there and roam around, and allows us to be out there with them because it's cool, because the plants are keeping us, cooler. Some people are surrounding their homes with lots of trees, and then that way the heat is absorbed by the plants, not the walls of your home, and the AC is working a lot less. Sometimes if you have enough trees around, you can open up your windows because you're getting a nice breeze instead of all that heat. Plants can really improve the lifestyle of your home, the look of your home, and the value of your home. Landscaping is so important too. So call the people at Cutter's Edge Pro. Tell them that Big O sent you, 954-472-0622. And Bradley Chubb, like William Quigley, baby. Pillars of stability in this community. And Bradley Chubb is our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP. I'm sorry, Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker of the night.
The Cutter's Edge Pro Difference Maker is brought to you by Cutter'sEdgePro.com, servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, malls throughout South Florida. Cutter'sEdgePro.com, providing South Floridians the edge every day of the year.
All right. Let's see. Chubb is a beast. We need to restructure and keep him. That's probably not the time to do that. And he's an older player. It's time to move on. You should have traded him at the deadline like I wanted to. That's what you should have done. But yeah, they're probably going to move on, and you're going to play the younger guys and draft another guy in the next year here so you can put him up with Chop and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, unfortunately, Chop also suffered the concussion, which is not good. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. Of course, you can send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff there on Cash App or Venmo, and we always appreciate that. Let's see. What else do we have going on? There we go. Sean, any news from the locker rooms, by the way? Nothing? Okay. All right. Just in case. If there was anything going on. What else do we have going on? Let's see. What do we have? Okay. All right, let's get to our Sloman's key decision of the game.
What was the deciding moment? Who made the right move? Where did the game change? It's the Sloman's key decision of the game. Make the smart decision to protect your home and family by calling Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME, serving Americans for nearly 100 years. Here's our Sloman's key decision of the game.
Right, folks, and in 49 of 50 states, you can get ShieldLink. That app will control everything, the lights in your home, the climate, the door locks, the music, the blinds, the TV, just about anything. You can lock the doors if somebody leaves it unlocked. You can turn on the AC if you're headed home and you want to cool down, or for those of you that live in a really cold place, you can turn up the heater and warm up your house. So when you get in there, you're not getting into an ice box. That's the beauty of Sloman's, plus, of course, the protection. They've been protecting Americans for 100 years. Reach out to our friends at 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. The stats were not outstanding. They weren't the kind of stats that you sit there and you're wowed. But Quinn Ewers, to me, was the Sloman's key decision of the game. Why? Because of what he did all game long. Something that, unfortunately, Tua has not done all year long. Take care of the football. You know how Sloman's takes care of Americans and protects them? Well, that's the same thing. He made the key decision where he completed 14 of 22 passes, 172 yards, and he got 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. 0 interceptions. Something that unfortunately Tua has not been able to stay away from this year. He has been absolutely horrible. Maybe the worst in the league, right? I don't know. It's between him and Geno. Did Geno pass him yet or anything? No, right? So either way, it's been bad. Okay? Tua has been terrible in taking care of the football. That's part of key decisions in a football game. They had 3 turnovers. They lost. Miami stayed away from that turnover business, and they won. And Quinn Ewers, by the way, to his credit, he also ran 2 times for 7 yards. Again, the numbers weren't anything extraordinary. The decisions were fantastic. And that's part of the game for a young guy, that he doesn't get caught up in the moment, that he doesn't let the emotions get the best of him, that he keeps within the game. And that's what he did in this afternoon. He stayed within his limits. He stayed within the offense. That Dulcich pass was fantastic. The broken coverage to Theo Reese, that he ends up, making a terrific throw, and the kid was home free. He made some throws, and he got it done. But to me, key decisions are making sure you stay away from those turnovers. And as a rookie, I'm not asking you to carry the offense. He didn't have to. I'm not asking you to carry the team. He didn't have to. And you're certainly not saving the season. The season's dead already. But you can live in the moment and be the best that you can be. And to me, that's what I saw from Ewers, a guy that the moment wasn't big for him. He took care of the football. Now I know that the rookie you drafted in the 7th round has got a chance to be your backup quarterback right now. Not your starter. That's, we're light years from that right now. But he doesn't look like Skylar Thompson did. Skylar Thompson was absolutely lost. He couldn't even hand off. So this kid looked like he had it put together. I like it. He's got it. This gives you a future now for Quinn Ewers. He's no longer a number 3 anymore. You know what I mean? This is a kid that's got a chance to at least be a number 2 right now in the league, and definitely for the Miami Dolphins. And, of course, you can also get a starter in Sloman's Shield Link. That's right, baby. Call them 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them that Big O sent you. One intuitive app, you can control everything. Somebody leaves the house, you see it on your video, and they didn't lock the door, you can lock it. Maybe they forgot to lock the back door. You can lock it. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. You can start setting the mood in your house if you want. If you have dogs like we do, well, we kind of want to make sure we have the temperature controlled in the house. We don't want to have it completely off because we don't want the dogs to be in a hot house. You know what I'm saying? So same thing. And sometimes, people always have cameras on the outside, of course. Okay, but I have cameras inside of my house. Why? Because I have 4 dogs. They're roaming all over the house. So I want to make sure I know what the hell's going on and they're all right and they're safe and all that. Dogs can be like kids, they can get in trouble sometimes. And so it's the interesting videos that you get there of the dogs. But, we love them anyways. You live with the good and the bad, you know what I'm saying? But there's nothing bad when it comes to dogs. It's all good. It's all beautiful. But I have my Sloman's cameras inside the home, making sure that my doggies are nice and safe. You can do the same thing. Reach out to our friends, 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. And Quinn Ewers is our Sloman's key decision of the game.
Our key decision of the game is brought to you by Sloman's Home Shield. When you want to protect your home, family, or business, call Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All right. Yes, sir. What do we got going on in the NFL right now in the afternoon, by the way? Just to give you a little rundown, Giants are leading the Raiders 20-10. Boy, the Raiders are bad, bro. Raiders are bad. Oh, as I spoke about Geno, does he have any interceptions in this game? He has one. There we go. I don't know what the race is. I'm not going to look at it, but what the hell? Eagles are leading the Bills 13-0. Okay. All right. Interesting. 12 minutes in the third. Bears and Niners tonight. That should be a pretty good one. That should be pretty good. Bengals beat the Cardinals 37-14. They improved to a robust 6-10 for the Bengals. The Browns over the Steelers 13-6. Shedeur didn't play well. He was 17 of 23, 186 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Saints over the Titans 34-26. I was hoping Cam would pull it out, but the Saints ended up with 14 points in the fourth quarter. Cam Ward didn't play bad, dude. He was 21 of 40, which is not great, but it's all right. 251, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He ran twice for 10 yards. He's doing the best he can. He's a rook in a terrible situation. You know, I don't hold it against him. I think he's done all right. Jags over the Colts. What a season for the Colts, dude. They went all in. They picks everything, and it blew up completely in their face. Wow. Jags are 12-4. I did not see that coming. Did not see it come. I'm happy for Trevor Lawrence because I was always a Trevor Lawrence guy. And it looked like I was going to be wrong about Trevor Lawrence, that's for sure. But he's turned the corner. On the Patriots over the Jets, that pain is coming next week, 42-10. And the Seahawks over the Panthers, 27-10. Again, Seahawks 13-3. Did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. Not at all. Not at all. By the way, I expect the Dolphins to lose next week against the Patriots. So they will be 7-10. Not for nothing, but 2 things we told you. It would be a bad year, and they're going 7-10. So, went 2 for 2 on that one. Let's see what happens. All right, folks. We appreciate David Furones and Chris Perkins. You can rewind to see those. Sean Stanley will be posting those soon. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley, mastering the entire platform. We thank all of you that tuned in, sent in a donation. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Very important. We shall see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., baby. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
You've been listening to our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The broadcast is brought to you by Welton Rayome, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, RM Contractors, Toyota of Hollywood, Haineswear, Sloman's Home Security, BigCheeseMiami.com, EJD Construction. The broadcast is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Thank you for supporting the platform and our fantastic sponsors. Go Fins!